we've both been a part of the circle. You know, Sam Taggart's D2D Experts CEO Mastermind. You know, I have plenty to say about it. But tell me a little bit about your experience. Like, when you came into the circle, like to where you are now, like what's happened?
Yeah, so I mean, we doubled the first year and then tripled the second year. So I mean, obviously, the growth was incredible, but it wasn't really that necessarily. Yes, that was awesome and like changed a lot of my situation.
So you doubled your revenue first year and then tripled that.
And then tripled that, yeah. So,
wow. Okay.
So we grew quite a bit.
And that wasn't the thing.
That wasn't the most important thing.
All
no.
right. Tell me more.
The biggest thing for me was, the relationships, because we have a great relationship. I've made lifelong friends with a lot of people in the circle, but
100%.
Being around other high-level people like that changed my complete mindset of what's actually possible. So, like...
That's powerful.
Being able to be successful is something that, you know, I've known that I'm capable of, but the level of success for me, being part of the circle, seeing what, you know, some of the people that are younger than I am that have built amazing things and people that have struggled to build things and learning from their experiences and realizing that, they may own a $100 million company, they may, you know, have 200 reps, but they have the same daily issues that, you know, that I have. And like
I totally
learning.
Agree. Yeah. That was one thing I was honestly really surprised about. Like when I got into the circle, I thought that like as a business owner, I was alone, you know? And as a CEO, a lot of the time, you're at the top. There's no one to go to say, hey, how do I fix this? Or what do I do with this problem? Or what do I do when this happens?
And I've been amazed like how gracious everyone is with their time.
Yeah.
Like I know how busy that I am, and I know how busy people that have larger companies than I do and more employees and that kind of thing, and more kids at home, more travel requirements. But everyone that I've wanted to talk to anyways has been so grateful and gracious with their time to be able to answer a question, whether it's, you know, something silly about like, oh, well, I'm trying to like log into this thing. Can you help me, show me how to do that? Or, you know, bigger issues of how to onboard teams and like I'm dealing with this issue with a rep or whatever it might be. And learning from
small,
those people.
Like there's always somebody that's already been there. That you can literally just go to and say, what did you do?
And shorten
How'd that work
gap.
out?
Yeah, shorten that gap between like where you are now and where your goal is. You know, a lot of times it's up and down, up and down, up and down. But with the mastermind, I've been able to ask questions and make it more of a straight line, a direct route.
Yeah. How many years do you think you cut off, like, in terms of like getting from point A to point B, you know, being around? I've always heard that you're going to be a lot like the top 5 people that you hang around. You know, it's a principle that I've lived by for a number of years. And, you know, how many years do you think that's taken off your growth? You know, how much have you expedited?
I don't even know if it's quantifiable, because the path that I was on before didn't lead to where I am now. So like it was just a completely different path. So I don't know that it's quantifiable. I just think that I'm accomplishing completely different things that I didn't even know were plausible.
So I know how much you spent to get into the circle. It's a lot of money. Right? Say it was 3 times that amount, 4 times that amount. Would you still do it?
Yeah.
Why?
A lot of what we talked about before, of those relationships and cutting the time off, and we talked about this a lot at the deep dive we just did, is some of the vision of what the people in the circle want isn't necessarily, it is being better and more successful at business, but a lot of it and a lot of the deep dive activities that we do are more about finding out like what we actually want out of life, and less about, all right, how do we go from 2 million to 5 million, or 5 million to 10 million, or 10 million to 30 million. It's more about what does that actually look like? What does that feel like? And why do I want to do that? And what am I trying to accomplish by doing that?
Yeah.
I think that we all chase that rabbit of being better, growing faster, being bigger. But a lot of times it's more about what is that actually going to create for our family, for ourselves, for our time, more so than, that extra zero in the bank account.
Right. Yeah. No, I definitely hear that. I think that, like, it's easy to forget that, like, being in business is great, making a lot of money is great, but, like, what is it all really for?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And some of it is the growth. The growth is fun.
Yeah, the growth's amazing.
But,
I mean,
yeah.
I get that. I think that, like, I'm with you. Like, I would pay 4 times the amount of money I would do it all over again and pay 4 times the amount of money. Because I feel like the value that I got was easily more than that. You know what I mean? So, and you're right, in a lot of ways. Like, I mean, of course I made so much more money than I paid out. You know what I mean? That's like a good investment, right?
Right.
You invest money in it.
Dollars
you
and
get
cents,
more
it still
back.
makes sense, yeah.
It still makes sense, but I agree with you. Like, the kind of, like, man that I've become and the kind of success that, like, is attracted to that kind of a man is, like, you can't put a price on that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just incredible. So I can relate a lot.